What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What is going on, friends and family? I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. Let me double check and make sure I got a couple settings correct. Just because now you may be a little bit surprised to see me here in the studio today. You may be a little bit surprised, and let me tell you why that is because I am supposed to be in Houston right now. Yep, I am supposed to be in Houston right now. But when I went to the airport yesterday, my flight got canceled. Yes, it did. But let me tell you the worst part about this situation and why I am going to, at some point, get to a certain level to where I can change my lifestyle. Let me give you the insight. All right. So this is basically the gist of it. I had a 3:20 boarding time, 4 p.m. flight time. Supposed to be in Houston. My flight was supposed to be a little less than 3 hours. I would have landed, got comfortable, went to my hotel, had time to go and stream with the Q show last night, and that did not happen. You're welcome, King C. That did not happen. And the reason that did not happen, I got to I did the show yesterday. I said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It's time for me to head to the airport. Headed straight to the airport from the studio. Valet parked. Went and checked in. Got my luggage and bag check. And sat in the airport. The minute that I got to the airport, it started raining. Oh, no big deal. Just a little bit of rain. Then it rained harder. Not a big deal. And then they said that your flight will be delayed 1 hour. All right, no big deal. I had some work that I was going to do on the plane. I'm going to go ahead and sit in the airport for an hour and get a little bit of work done. And then it's got delayed another hour. And then it got delayed another hour. And a flight that was supposed to take off at 4 p.m. Eastern eventually got delayed all the way till 9 p.m. Eastern. So I'm sitting in the airport from what, 2:30? From 2:30 all the way to 9. 9 o'clock hits. Then it passes 9. The guy makes an announcement. He said, listen, we're going to take off, guys. We're just waiting on the pilots to get off of another plane. and to get onto this plane. And the whatever they are, the stewardess, whatever they are, right? They are already here. They're on the plane. The plane is clean. The plane is right there. It is right there in 73B or whatever it was, right? Then I get a notification 20 minutes later. Your flight is canceled. Okay. All right. Your flight is canceled. So I'm sitting in the airport from 2:30 to 9:30. 7 hours after going through the security is light. I mean, it's easy to get through security and all of that because you got whatever. So, oh wow, Delta just notified me. Anton, your bag is now arriving in. Why is my bag in Houston? Why did I literally just get the notification that my bag is in Houston? Thank you for traveling with us. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. I can't. Why is my bag in claim 5 in Houston? That don't even make sense. Here, I'm going to screenshot it and show it to you guys. I'm going to screenshot what I just got, and this is the reason. This is the reason why I got a headache. Let me go ahead and put it on the big screen. Show the people. This is the notification I just got. Your bag is now at claim 5 in the Houston airport. Now, here's the key about this one, right? This is the key about this, right? So my plane gets canceled at 9:30 after sitting in the airport for 7 hours, right? I'm in there for 7 hours. Then I go over to the desk, the Delta bag claim desk thing. I get a thing. She says, I said, yo, my bag is on the plane. I need to deplane it. She said, okay. It usually takes like 5 to 6 hours. And in the morning, you can come and get it. I said, okay, well, no worries. I'll just come and get the bag. Actually, I'm not going to come get the bag. I said, I'll just have Rita get it when she flies back in on Wednesday. She could just go and get my bag. Cool. All right, no problems. I said, is it going to be here in Michigan? Right here in DTW. She said, yep, it's going to be here. I said, you guys going to be there. Black lady with the braids. I said, it's going to be there. Yeah, it's going to be there. They're going to deplane it, whatever, blah, 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 so on and so forth. I said, what would usually happen? She said, well, Delta would just automatically book you on another flight, and then you would take that flight, and then you would just pick up your bag in Houston. I said, so what do I have to do? She said, you just go in your app and cancel the flight. Otherwise, they're going to rebook you. I said, okay, cool. I go in, I cancel the flight, right? I go in, I cancel the flight, and then I take the e-credits. All right, cool. No worries. I'm going to be flying soon again. I'm going to go ahead and take the e-credits. Then I just literally get the notification just now that my bag is in Houston. Now, how do you suppose that I get my bag if it's in Houston? And how did it end up in Houston? I don't get it, bro. And so it's two things that I take from this, all right? Actually, three things that I take from this. The first thing that I take from this is this is motivation. I look at this as motivation. You always have to find something to keep you motivated. And the motivation, as I was leaving yesterday, I was saying to myself, I gotta make $1,000,000 a month. I gotta make $1,000,000 a month. I have to. And so, why does that number matter? Because I really, really just want to be able to take a flight, get on a clearport, have my own pilots, have my own jet, and to be able to justify the cost. I can't justify the cost unless I make $1,000,000 a month. That's it. I can't justify the cost. If I'm not making at least the M a month, and so that's my goal over the next 2 to 3 years, is to get an M a month. Because I should be able to go where it is that I need to go without having to sit in the airport for 7 hours. I really should. The second thing that I take from this is that I'm really, really blessed and I'm appreciative. And so I'm not that far removed to where I don't remember where I came from. And then I also understand that I'm really, really blessed, right? So I don't take it for granted that I can fly anywhere I want to or whatever like that. And so we have to be able to separate it. One is a goal, right? I want to make $1,000,000 a month. That's what I'm going to shoot for. The other one is to realize that these are first world problems and I'm super blessed. And then the last thing is it's just luggage. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm healthy. It's a lot of people that didn't make it, that didn't wake up today. We know about the NYC shooter, so we going to cover that. We know about the people that's suffering. It's people getting laid off. It's people that got evictions. It's people that don't know where they're going to get their next meal. And so while at the same time, and this is the lesson that I took from it, right? The lesson that I took from it is this: I'm going to shoot for the greatest, but I'm going to be appreciative of where I'm at, and that's where I balance it. That's why, I don't know if I got it on right now. I actually took it off. I usually wear a rubber band on this arm, and then I wear whatever my watch is on this arm. And this arm represents the goals, the accomplishments, where you're going. And this arm reminds me of where it is that I've been, where it is that I've come from, and never to get too high on your horse and to always be appreciative because, you got to remain humble when it comes to the eyes of God, not man. We don't humble ourselves to people. We humble ourselves to God. All right. So I'm not tripping about it. Honestly, it was only two hookups, some shorts, two shirts. You know what I'm saying? I was only gonna be there for 2 days. So some pajama pants and this and that. The biggest problem was that I was very disappointed that I couldn't go and see my daughter compete today. And so I was very broken up about that. So I sent her a video this morning and I was just telling her, yo, I'm your number one fan. I love it. I'm mad that I couldn't be there. And that's really the biggest thing that I took away from it is just that that's my world. You know what I'm saying? Everything shifts around her. Everything shifts around my daughter. So, thankfully, and this is the other blessing that comes along with it, and we're gonna get into the show, is that she has a phenomenal mother. She has a phenomenal mother. And so, we work together tirelessly on our businesses. We work together tirelessly when it comes to our daughter. And she is the greatest mother of all time. And so shout out to Rita for being a phenomenal mother. And it's really a blessing. And this is the thing that we really want with traditional families is that the traditional family allows for you to cover where the other person can't, right? So whereas I'm doing all of the work when it comes to the resources and this and that and so on and so forth, she then is the covering when it comes to ensuring that my daughter is getting to and from. And so she's the support system on that part. And then when I'm taking care of this and I'm taking care of all of this business, she the go between and she'll take care of the contractors and all of that. So, y'all got to learn how to look at people and value them more than just box. Y'all have to look at people and value them for more. This goes for the ladies. It's more than just how tall you are or how much money you have or all of this stuff. You got to learn how to find a person to work together with to accomplish things, whether that be to raise a great child or to, make sure that you're covering each other when it comes to businesses. Like, put that bull aside, put the nonsense aside, and let's start thinking. And this is one of the reasons why I want to be more solutions oriented in my conversations. The show was phenomenal last night. The show was absolutely incredible last night. But I was kind of in a pickle, you know what I'm saying, as I was watching it, right? Because I'm watching it in the car, heading back to the apartment and stuff like that. I was kind of in a pickle last night because I was watching and I was thinking to myself, this is not my life. I'm not ghetto. I don't get into fights in Cincinnati. We're going to cover that too. I don't have problems when it comes to, child support court. I'm not dealing with a woman that, or people or my mother. I was talking to my mother on the phone last night and she was like, "Oh, Anton, I want to go to Vegas for my brother's birthday. Send me some money if you can." And I said, "Mom," and this is the honest to God conversation that we had last night. I said, "Ma, let me ask you a question." She said, "Yes, baby." Because her 70th birthday just passed, right? I said, "How much money do you think I make?" She said, "Well, baby," this is what my mama said. She said, "Well, baby, if I'm thinking, well, if he make anywhere around or more than $25,000 a month," I said, "How much do you think I make a month?" She said, "If you make any more than $25,000 a month," I said, "Shoot, I'm gonna be calling him all the time for some money." I said, "You think I make $25,000 a month?" She said, "Yeah." I just giggled. I just laughed. She said, "Is it more?" I was just laughing. I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even say nothing. I'm like, that's crazy. I don't have the same problems, and it's because I choose differently. I choose to not be in a ghetto space. I choose to be the covering. And then it's funny because it's people say, "Anton, well, you got left lawsuit money or whatever." Then why my mama still calling me for money if that's the truth? If my father died and he had all of this money supposedly from his maintenance job, or if I got a lawsuit, what the hell is my mama calling me for money for? Like, have y'all ever thought of? Anyways, never mind. But my point is that I choose to live a different lifestyle. I choose to elevate. I choose to put myself in the company of people that are more productive. And as I was watching the show last night, I was just like, yo, I just can't relate to some of this stuff that they talking about because I don't deal with people that are under duress, or I don't deal with problematic women, or I don't deal with issues that go this way or go that way. And so I got a different lifestyle. I'm The things I complain about is really like first world problems. You know what I'm saying? And I want that for y'all. Facts, Bitcoin Brown. I want that from y'all. That's what I want for you. I want you to have the option to not to have to deal with people that are not going in the direction that you're going in. I want you to have the option. I don't want y'all to be dealing with a woman and having baby mama problems. I don't believe in baby mamas. I don't believe in broken families. I don't believe in, you know what I'm saying? And we got it popping up, I think, on Thursday. On Thursday. So I don't want that energy around me, honestly. I really don't. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. I'll figure out what my bags is doing at a later time. Got to figure out what's going on with these bags. At a later time, we'll do that after the show. Let me acknowledge the people that support the platform. I appreciate y'all. And I also realize this too, right? Before I before I dig deep into this, I also realize this. As I elevate and grow, there will be some people that probably fall off. I missed y'all too last night. As I elevate and grow, there will be some people that fall off. I understand that. That is the dilemma that a lot of content creators have. All right. The dilemma that a lot of content creators have is this, is that they're so worried about whether or not the people that's rocking with them at the time is going to keep rocking with them. And so they keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And they keep the same format. They keep the same content. They still talk about the same type of women. They still have the same conversations. They do the same type of panel. Like, I have to elevate. But I know that it's a balance that I have to have, because as I elevate, there's a demographic of people that only want me to talk negatively about this, or only want me to talk about that, or they want me to be in this space. And so I understand that there's going to be a fall off. There's going to be natural attrition. This is a conversation that I want to have with y'all on the Patreon too. It's going to be natural attrition from your content, because they're going to say, oh, he's simping out, or oh, he just got too big for his britches, or oh, he talk about money too much, or oh, this, or oh man, he's trying to be too productive and help people and get them together and try to have relationships and trying to help people to get to a certain level. And so when you start to be a little bit more solutions oriented as you grow, you're going to do like this. But you still going to grow. But it's not going to be straight up like this. People that stay the same, they do like this. Or they do like this slowly. Because people grow up and you never grow with your audience. People that evolve, they do like this. They go down and up, but they still going up. And it's because you're going to have a certain demographic of people that say, I don't want to watch that no more because you've changed or you've evolved, or I still hate these hoes, and we not on that. It's still people that's still talking about whether or not Kevin Samuels is this or that, right? It's still people reacting to Kevin Samuels content. Like, well, let the man rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other part. As we grow, we gonna evolve. All right. All right. Shout out to Dennis Avery. I appreciate you. Thank you, Dennis Avery says, truth speaking. Robert Banks says, Skynet is here, learning to reprogram itself. And my dog, Mike That Dude, in the building. Shout out to Mike That Dude. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you to Mike That Dude for holding us down over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Can't go backwards, y'all. Sarge says, good morning, AD. Appreciate your grind. Keep setting the pace, big dog. Thank you, Sarge. Jerry in the building says, that's such an inconvenience. Would put on Sharon, Black Karen, hat on and file a complaint so quick. I just don't have the time or the energy to do that, though, Jerry. I'm not on that. I just be like, hey, let me just figure out how to get my bag. Do you know what the real solution is? To make enough money to where we can fly private. I'm not there yet, though. To make enough money to where we fly private. Cozy Jake says, will you ever join Fresh and Fit Show as a guest? Yes, I actually talked to Myron yesterday, and that is going to be happening in August. So let me give y'all a little bit of preview of what I got going on, the next few places that I'm going to drop through. I'm going to be on Tim Pool's show next week. So next week, I'm flying out to rock out with Tim Pool. A lot of y'all may know Tim Pool. Maybe some of y'all do, maybe some of y'all don't. And then I talked to Myron yesterday, and we're supposed to be doing it in the middle of August. I don't know if they're ready for me, though, because I might be a little bit more different than what they used to. I don't know if they prepared for that type of conversation, but we definitely gonna have it. So I was talking to Myron yesterday, and I will be on Fresh and Fit probably the week after or the week after that, right? Middle of August, I'm gonna be on Fresh and Fit. So shout out to everybody, all right? Sly White says, I email info on shared private jet services. Thank you, Sly White. I appreciate you for that. I'm gonna check that out. Wesley Turner says, I predict you will hit 1 million by December. What month is this? What month is this? This is July, August, September, October, November. I had to be before that. What was we at? 750 yesterday? Where we at today? Let's see where we at today. What are we? We was at 7. We was like 749, 750, 100. 750, 100, and 750, 150 or something like that. Where are we at? That's where we at today. So giving y'all the update. We're at 753. So there you go. So we gained about 3,000 700 subscribers since yesterday. So at this rate, it looks like about 90,000 every 30 days. 93,000 subscribers every 30 days at this rate. And we've been at this rate for about 2 months or so. So probably should be there in less than 3 months. So if July, August, September, October, November, something like that, and we'll see what happens. So anyways, we're going to be focusing on 2 million after that. We're not even going to be on 1 million. We're not even tripping off of that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Let me read a couple of more super chats. Shout out to you, Wesley Turner. I appreciate you. Daily Discuss Discourse. Arturo says, always evolve. I was in a slump because I changed up the content, but then I hit the wave, and yesterday was my first 1 million views in a day. Jeez. Jeez. Get it, big dog. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Run it up. Run it up. Run it up. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification. I don't know what's up with my board right here. It's not connecting. I don't know what that is. But we gonna make it do what it do. So, New York. All right. So, yesterday, all the big news. Thank you, Mr. Lott. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. All the big news was coming out of New York yesterday, and it was centered primarily around a gunman. And so we're going to spend a couple different segments on this one. A gunman who killed himself along with 4 other people, which includes a police officer. And I think he killed an executive of BlackRock. Let's get into it, y'all.
Horror in Midtown Manhattan as a gunman opened fire in a busy high-rise office building with a high-powered M4 rifle. Multiple people are confirmed dead, including the gunman. Joining me now is ABC's Will Reeve from the scene.
Here on the ground on Park Avenue in the middle of Manhattan, it was a wall of sound and light, helicopters, emergency response of every kind, scared workers and locals and tourists alike walking out, not knowing what to do. What we do know now from a press conference from Mayor Adams tonight, there are 4 innocent people dead, plus the shooter, Shane Tamura, who traveled a long way to be here, ending his own life and the lives of others in that building right there. Juju.
Will Reeve, thank you. The NYPD and federal investigators tonight are working to answer a multitude of questions about this horrifying attack, including what motivated the gunman to wield such a conspicuous weapon in broad daylight on the streets of New York City. Tonight, mayhem erupting on the streets of Midtown Manhattan.
Confirmed shots fired, 345 Park Avenue, big shots fired inside.
Around 6:30 tonight, a man seen here in this photo wearing body armor and armed with a high-powered rifle entered the 44-story office building at 345 Park Avenue, headquarters of the NFL and Blackstone Group, an investment firm.
The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. He makes his way to the elevator bank, where he shoots a security guard who was taking cover.
The suspect shot 5 people, killing 4, including a 36-year-old off-duty NYPD officer, Didarel Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh and a 3.5-year veteran. His wife pregnant with their 3rd child.
He embodies what this city is all about. He's a true blue New Yorker, not only in a uniform he wore, but in his spirit and energy of loving this.
Seem like police officers who pass on duty, off duty. Blackstone, not BlackRock. Okay, I appreciate you for the clarification. Thank you. I'm not above being more insight. But it seems like every time somebody passes away, whether a cop passes away or not, that they always have a child or somebody that is being born. I don't know what that is. They always got a child or somebody being born. I'm going to say this before we even get into this show. I think that people that do this type of stuff, although there is some people, because trust me, yes, I've seen the different people online that talk about, oh my God, the NFL, this and that, blah, and so on and so forth, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I think that people that do this type of stuff they're 100%, they think that they're awesome. They think that they're doing some righteous cause. They think that they're doing something so phenomenal. I think that they cowards. I really do. I know we had the Walmart killing the other day and all of this stuff. These people are the biggest cowards ever, bro. They're such cowards. They always got a note. They always got a cause. They want to go in and prove to everybody. And yes, I'm a deep dive a little bit because I know that what he was, what they say that he was targeting and all of that. But these people are cowards. These are some of the biggest cowards that I've ever seen in my entire life, bro. Because they don't go in, like they don't go in the police. You know what I'm saying? They don't try to kill themselves. They kill themselves as a last resort. They kill themselves as a last resort. They go in, shoot an unarmed security guard, shoot a police off-duty cop, shoot a woman that's trying to hide and all of this stuff. And then they want to come in and blame it on CTE. Yeah, I watched the movie that Will Smith starred in where he was uncovering the CTE. I don't think that nobody is that broken. I don't believe personally that anybody is that broken where, oh man, I'm just going crazy. I got to go get the M4 and then just go kill everybody. I don't believe that anybody is that broken. Y'all do realize that all these things that we have on this earth is mostly man-made. The gun that you walking in, the coat that you put on, the sunglasses that you got. So you're telling me that your CTE prompted you, or the suffering that you had prompted you at some point to go and kill a bunch of other people. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You ain't that crazy. You just need a whooping. That's what you need. You ain't that crazy. You need a whooping. Honestly. I don't care what they claim. They claim he had mental health issues. I don't care. You ain't that crazy. I seen a belt get the devil off plenty of people. I seen a belt remove all of the, that's what we used to call it back in the day. Oh, you got mental health issues. Where the strap at? Where the strap? You got mental health issues? Oh, that's just the devil. That's what grandma used to say. Oh, you just got the devil in you. We gonna fix that. All of a sudden, all of that mental health issue junk. I seen plenty of kids straighten up. Oh, you got problems in your household. Oh, you don't know how to act right in school. You a problem child. Oh, the student nurse, the nurses at the school. Oh, they told you that you had ADHD. You can't pay attention. Where the strap at? I know how to fix that. Be in school studying like a mug. Focused. As long as they was under my mom's house or my grandmother's house, they was focused. All of this self-diagnosed bull crap, y'all need therapy. I got something for you. I know how to fix that. Oh, black people need therapy. No, you need some money. You needed a whooping when you was younger, and you need to get some self-control and a strong father in your life. Got nothing to do with no therapy. How you gonna go to other people that's broken that went and studied something to go and self-diagnose to fix you? Anton, they don't give you the solution. They give you the tools to be able to fix it for yourself. Oh, you saying I already got what I need? So what I need you for? Honestly, I'm sick of all of the excuses of people that can go in and take other people's lives and ruin other people's lives, and they keep on blaming it on mental health. You not dumb. You not stupid. You not unfocused. You know what you're doing. Everybody confused. Ain't nobody confused. Everybody confused. You confused? I got something for that.
City.
The gunman was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound on the 33rd floor. This photo showing the gun multiple sources say he used to carry out the rampage, covered in blood. Police identified the shooter as 27-year-old Las Vegas resident Shane Tamura, who drove his black BMW from Nevada to New York.
Inside of that vehicle, officers found a rifle case with rounds, a loaded revolver, ammunition, and magazines, a backpack, and medication prescribed to Mr. Tamura. Mr. Tamura has a documented mental health history. His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location.
As the shooting unfolded, police immediately locking down the neighborhood and conducting a floor-by-floor search of the building.
We knew something bad was happening. We heard the choppers, we heard all the sirens. It was crazy. So, and then of course, everyone was on their phones following along. Like, you guys were telling us more than, the media, telling us more than what we were able to find out. So, yeah.
Employees told to shelter in place, barricading themselves inside offices with furniture. Workers with hands raised, then released from the building with police escort. Tonight, local law enforcement teaming up with federal officials to continue the investigation.
Our city is in mourning for the...
Yeah, they mental health. But you can drive in your BMW all the way from Las Vegas to New York with sunglasses on, the whole 9 yards. Mental health, though, right? I just want to make sure that we putting things in perspective, because I'm not saying that people don't have mental health issues or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I haven't studied it. I'm only giving it to you from a C student's perspective, right? Giving you my opinion on this part. I present the facts, and then we try to break it down from a C student's perspective. And so this is the thing that I'm trying to understand. How are you able to operate like an adult with everything else, but then it's all mental health and prescription? I know people that take prescriptions that don't even need it. I know people that take prescriptions so that they can sell the prescription pill over to somebody else. You drove from Vegas to New York. All right, got it.
Innocent lives lost. May their memories be a blessing.
And joining me now, retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
And as you know, the NYPD commissioner says that the alleged gunman had a documented history of mental illness. What all will investigators be looking for to uncover what might have motivated him?
Well, they're going to obviously have to look at the following. Does he have any connection, either directly or indirectly, to some aspect of the building in New York? In other words,
let me pivot over and I'm going to present another view of it. This is Fox News' coverage of it.
This is a Fox News alert. The FBI has joined the investigation into the deadly shooting in New York City that killed 4 people, including an off-duty NYPD officer. The gunman was identified as 27-year-old Shane Tamura from Las Vegas, who has a history of mental illness.
Retired FBI agent Jason Pack joined.
A lot, you know what else I've seen a lot of times when people go crazy? You know what else I've seen? I've seen people go crazy a lot of times from losing a lot of money. I've seen people go crazy a lot of times from losing a lot of money. Maybe they hit the craps table. Maybe they hit the blackjack table. You brought more than you can afford to lose. I don't know. I don't think that anything should be off the table until we learn more. I don't know. I don't think that anything should be off the table until we learn more. I don't. I used to follow some YouTubers that moved over to, I still do. I think that they're on a pathway to being under a bridge. It's a fascinating find. It's a fascinating observation of their inability to be able to get themselves a job. I look at Umar Johnson. I think that Umar Johnson could be placed in the same mental health field, because ain't no way in the world that you can sit here and tell me that he is logical with his thinking. It's a lot of people that we see in the black. You know what they do? They just keep on panhandling. They just keep on keeping on. They just keep on figuring it out. There's a whole lot of people out here in these streets that don't opt to go and kill a bunch of people every single day. Every single day I see people that is out of their mind that we just laugh at, and they just keep on just keeping on. Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism. Where my queens at? Where my African queens? Where my European queens? Where my European Africans? Where my Asian Africans? Where my American Africans? Where my Africans from LA? Baby Smurf is trying to stop me, Medea said that she wanted to get my schlong, and she decided that she wanted to go down on the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Huh? Dr. Bussy is probably trying to break into my account, and that's why they have it frozen. Huh? Yes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're one flooring away from being able to get our license to open up the FDMG ABCFD HIJK Elemental P school for boys and girls. And ladies and gentlemen, I will be the principal. Yes, I will. The only thing that we need to do, is we need to have a paint party, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I did hire some black people, and so the reason why your donations is missing is because the black folks, for whatever reason, they don't like Dr. Umar. If I just had all of you, if I at any point ever helped you with your child, if I at any point ever changed your life, if we can just get 80 people to write testimonials on YouTube, we could squash all of the negative hate every time that I wake up and I look at YouTube. I got Medea, I got Baby Smurf, who is my biological child that I never was there for, but she's trying to tell me down. We got Queen Smurf, who is her mother that I just so happen to have sex with that I didn't marry. And we got Dr. Bussy, and I don't know why he's trying to put a freeze on my account. I got the IRS on my buttocks, but peace and Pan-Africanism. If I can get $5 from everybody that's on this live right now, I would be able to feed myself. If I can get $5, I'm going to say it again. I need you to understand, overstand, and understand. If I can get $5 from everybody on here until I can get my account unfrozen, I called them and I said, was it due to any fraud on my own? They said, no, Dr. Umar Johnson, Ifa Tunde, peace and Pan-Africanism. But I am going on tour right after I get this $5. So I will be in Philly. I will be in LA. Delaware, ladies, check in on Delaware. I will be in Delaware, and then I'm going into the bushes of Ghana, and I will be with you right after I do another interview. And then we going to get the floors together on the FDMG BFC school, and then we should be getting our occupancy, and then we going to have a paint party. You can't tell me that man not crazy. You can't. It's nothing. You're never. Hey, you know what the craziest part about it? I know y'all crazy because y'all are the ones that really believed in it. People were arguing with me for years. Hey, man, no, he's going to save black people. At least he opened up a school, and I was looking at them like, you was a fool, and the truth ain't in you. You was a fool. You, lady, who enrolled your child and put him on a waiting list 15 years ago, and now he's a grown man going to an HBCU. You a fool for actually believing that your child was going to enroll in the FDMBMG school. And so I always question who's crazy and who's not crazy. I got to ask the question, who's crazy and not crazy? Why should we not? Do Dr. Umar Johnson got CTE? I don't know. I believe so. I think that Dr. Umar Johnson's brain need to be studied in the same way that this young man's brain need to be studied.
Joins us now. Jason, the Post is reporting that the gunman was carrying a note that cites the NFL and blamed football for his apparent struggle with CTE. He also asked that his brain be studied. Now, the NFL has offices here on floors 5 through 8. Are you hearing anything from your sources in the FBI throughout law enforcement as to why this guy ended up going to the 33rd floor?
Not yet. That's one of the major questions investigators have this morning as they work overnight to piece together this senseless murder that happened out there. And we've heard of CTE, Todd, with the NFL players and the concussions. And so for some reason, there's something triggered him. There's some kind of grievance that triggered him.
Y'all making me laugh. I'm trying not to look at the chat, but y'all making me laugh. You said Umar gonna come get me, brother. Listen. I just be joking on him. I actually want him to fix his life and get a job. You know what I'm saying? Go and get you some psychology classes or something. Go get you a residency in a university at an HBCU. You can do something to get a job. What's up with our black men not getting jobs? I actually want him to do well. So I just joke on him a little bit. I am the very last person, the very, 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 very last person that Umar Johnson would want to ever have a conversation about. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? He can keep finessing y'all on Instagram and Facebook, and that's cool. I think he's a great entertainer. That is the last thing that Umar Johnson ever wants. The last thing. That would be the end of his YouTube career. I promise you that one.
Grievance, whether that was against a particular person or the NFL, that's still what investigators are trying to learn this morning. And the reason we just don't know why the elevator got off on that particular floor. A lot of times in most of the buildings in New York, you can see you get on an elevator and it's only one floor, and somebody else determines where the elevator goes. It's not like in the movies where you push all the buttons, where the kids are pushing all the buttons there. So that's another question investigators need to answer, is what particularly was he looking for? There was that management firm on that floor. So is that relevant? Is that not? That's what they're looking for answers for today.
Yeah, so we're going to deep dive into it. Before I read super chats, I want to tap into another segment of this, and it's basically based off of, was he targeting the NFL offices that was in that building? Again, was he targeting the NFL offices that was in that building? In the spirit of Umar Johnson, we're going to say it 3 times. Was he targeting, ladies and gentlemen, was he targeting the NFL offices that often at times, I'm going to say it again, was he targeting the NFL offices often at times that created the Shannon Sharps of the world? Because we know that they've been trying to take down our kings with snow bunnies. Huh? You hear me? We know that they've been taking down our kings with snow bunnies. The avalanche of snow has infected all of our black folk. And I don't understand why they want their lineage to go over into their white children. Huh? I don't understand it. And so maybe he's targeting the NFL offices because they've been infecting our black kings with snow.
New details on the mass shooting in the heart of New York City that left 4 people dead, including an NYPD officer. The gunman was caught on surveillance images walking into an office tower, carrying, as you can see in that video, an M4 assault-style rifle. Police say he immediately opened fire inside the lobby and then moved to the elevator bank, went up to the 33rd floor, where he continued firing before ultimately taking his own life. This is the deadliest mass shooting in New York City in 25 years. Investigators have identified the gunman as 27-year-old Shane Tamura of Las Vegas. They've tracked his movements over the last few days as he drove from Nevada to Manhattan, parking just outside, double parking really just outside that building. Inside the building, the NFL's corporate offices, along with a number of other businesses. And a source does tell CNN the gunman had a suicide note in his pocket, which expressed some grievances with the NFL, also claiming to suffer from CTE and asking for his brain to be studied. Police, however, has stressed that at this point, any motive is still under investigation. As for the officer who was killed, he has been identified as 36-year-old Didarul Islam, a 3.5-year veteran of the department. He leaves behind a pregnant wife and 2 sons.
I do believe that he was there to target the NFL offices. I do believe that. But here's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. And maybe some of y'all can let me know inside of the chat, because I did a little bit of research and I was not able to find him on any NFL roster. The closest that I was able to find was him on a high school roster or something like that. So y'all let me know. Let me know inside of the chat. Was this guy ever on an NFL roster? Was he ever on a practice team? Did he ever get recruited? What? Was he ever on a roster? Did he ever get recruited? What happened to this guy? Because again, how can you target an organization that you never even played for? Now, again, maybe some of y'all know some information that I was not able to find. Was he on an NFL roster at any point in his career to where he could actually justify blaming the NFL for CTE. I thought that CTE meant corporate thug entertainment. I seen Jeezy. Jeezy the only CTE I know. Jeezy has CTE Entertainment. That's the only CTE I know. He didn't get a chance to prove himself. Okay, so I heard he was on a high school and ended up playing in Canada. So how can you blame? Why is he targeting the NFL offices saying that I need you to study my brain? And who gave him an M4? I said no focus on Blackstone, no. What do you want us to focus on Blackstone? I think, listen, the only reason y'all say stuff about like no focus on Blackstone or whatever, bruh, you're not even smart enough to be able to figure out what's going on with Blackstone. All you know is the conspiracy theories and the videos that you watched on YouTube. What makes you think that he is more focused? He walked around with a note. Some people saying that it was targeted and maybe it's set up, whatever, so on and so forth, right? Blood Raw, y'all remember Blood Raw? He wasn't even on the roster. But let's continue.
Overnight, officials lining the streets outside a Manhattan hospital as his body was transferred. New York City's Mayor Eric Adams has ordered all flags on city buildings be flown at half-staff in tribute to the slain officer. Here's what he had to say last night.
He was saving lives. He was protecting New Yorkers. He's an immigrant from Bangladesh, and he loved this city. And everyone we spoke with stated he was a person of faith.
CNN's Omar Jimenez is at the shooting scene for us this morning. Omar, what did we learn overnight?
Yeah, so we learned a few details overnight, but I want to start with what I'm seeing this morning, because obviously we're heading into a new rush hour, the first morning.
Oh, you're going to go far, buddy. Omar Jimenez, you're going to go far. And the reason that I know you're going to go far is because you got a face full of makeup, a head full of hair, no mustache, no beard. That's definitely going to go far. Omar, you're doing good, buddy. You're going to be anchor in no time. What is up with the no mustache, no beard thing? Is that a rebuke? I promise y'all, if y'all got more men that look like men that didn't look like turtles, then y'all would be doing way better in the ratings. People actually like beards now. Y'all been doing this Bryant Gumbel look since the 80s, since the 70s. It's okay. And I'm not saying anything is wrong. I just don't trust black men that don't have facial hair.
Since this happened during evening rush hour last night, and as you mentioned, flags at half-staff, we are seeing that outside the building here. We also walked up to the entrance, or got as close to it as we could. Police are out front, barricades, as you can imagine, guarding the entrance and sort of the block perimeter around it. But you can actually see the glass cracked, sort of the introductory glass panes, window panes as you walk in, cracked with what appear to be impact points on one of the window panes, but also on the lower portion of a revolving door as well. Remnants of what happened here in what unfolded in just a few minutes as this gunman walked in, started opening fire on the lobby, killing 3 people in the lobby, including a New York police officer, before heading up.
Oh, you missing it, Trey Day. We've been cooking all day, baby.
That police officer killed 36-year-old Didarul Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh, father of 2, expecting a third. But we also just got in a statement that one of the other people killed was an employee for Blackstone. This building holds a number of different companies. Blackstone included the NFL as well. But this statement saying, we are heartbroken to share that our colleague Wesley LePatner was among those who lost their lives. So we're continuing to learn more about the victims in this as well. And all of this as police are trying to push forward to some sort of motive to figure out what may have driven this person to do this. We're appearing to get a few clues. A source with knowledge of the investigation says that this person had a suicide note that talked about CTE, the traumatic brain injury that is typically brought on from playing high.
I also don't trust guys whose mustache, when you don't have a beard and then your mustache goes further than your lips, I don't trust you. When I seen Shane Devon Tamura, 27, I would have immediately said, hey, arrest that guy. Hey. This is why I sit with my back to the door and I always face the door. When I see people that walk in and they have their mustache longer and no beard, and their mustache is longer than their lips, I don't trust them. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a reflex. I don't know if I've seen something in the past. I said, don't trust men that got mustaches longer than the lips but no beard. I don't know what that is, but for whatever reason, I don't trust you, because it's almost like you're trying to be a Mexican. Y'all ain't never seen them cartoons with the Mexicans that got the beard at the end and it's rolled up and it's got the curls like the cowboys, the cowboy. I don't know what it is. It's certain things that just trigger me. And I think I figured it out just right here, right now. I figured it out. What it is when I see things that don't make sense, right? When I see things that don't make sense, it's just like, that boy may be a little bit crazy, If you're 40, for example, and you decide that you want to get a mohawk, like, what inspired that, What made you want to do that? When I used to be younger, you know what I'm saying? And I used to see guys, and I understood the S curl, guys whose hair was a little bit more coarse and they wanted to go with the pretty boy look, but they didn't quite get it all the way because they wasn't born with straighter hair, and so they would get the S curl. I got that part. But when I seen guys start getting perms, and I said, you look crazy, right? And if they didn't admit, yep, I made a mistake. If you went and got a perm twice and it didn't work the first time, then I started looking at you a little different. Like, something wrong with him. Why he still got a wet set and it's not, but it's not wet? You know what I'm saying? I always try to figure out why do we do certain things? Was I crazy at that time? Were they crazy at that time? What's wrong with them? And so I can automatically look and be like, you know what? He not all the way there yet. We gonna have to watch him, and we gonna have to make sure we not gonna stereotype him. We just gonna watch him a little bit, and we gonna make sure that everything is good. And so keep an extra eye on that guy right there.
Impact sports like football, and this office does house the NFL, and we do understand from the NFL an employee was shot here, but that's just one piece of what is going to be a larger investigation, again, to zero in on a specific motive here. This shooter lived in Las Vegas prior to carrying this out, before driving across the country to this block where I'm standing and walking into that building and doing what they did. But bottom line, as security is beefed up at this building over the next weeks and potentially months, families will be mourning those lost in just a matter of minutes.
Absolutely. Omar, appreciate it. Thank you.
What? What? Hold on. How is a perm the domestic violence kid? So y'all saying that every man that get a perm, he do domestic violence? But if you look in the movies, that's kind of true. You know what I'm saying? That is so kind of true. That's kind of true. So y'all saying that if a guy get a perm, then that's the domestic violence kid? Oh, if I see a woman walking with a guy that got a perm, I know she getting her butt kicked all day long. I know she catching hell at home with him. Jesus.
A gunman has killed at least 4 people and himself at an office tower in Midtown Manhattan. Joining us now is Bloomberg's Miles Miller. Miles, thank you so much for joining us. And you've been working tirelessly reporting on this story. Just bring us the latest and what we understand about the motive of this individual.
Right. So this suspect drives cross country, starting in Nevada, with stops through Colorado, New Jersey yesterday, parks his car right outside of this building, 345 Park Avenue, and gets sneaks out in the middle of rush hour traffic with an M4 rifle. He goes into this building, which is owned by Rudin, a large property management company here in the city. And the first person he encounters is an off-duty police officer who's working in what's called a paid detail. So an officer in a uniform, but not working at a precinct, and shoots him in the back. And he continues shooting in that lobby. He shoots a security guard. He goes into an elevator bank destined for the NFL headquarters, which is on the 5th floor. But because this is an elevator bank that the buttons are on the outside, he didn't push any buttons. He winds up going to the 33rd floor, which is the headquarters of Rudin Management. And when he's in that part of the building, shoots another person who is an employee of Rudin, and then ultimately turns the gun on himself. He's in reporting that we've gotten overnight is that he had a letter, handwritten letter in his pocket, in which he says this is all about CTE, which is a chronic condition that football players get, and you can only really study it after they die. You have to search, go through their brain, and you see the signs of it. And he believes that he was hit so hard during his time playing high school football that that's what led him to come to NFL headquarters and sort of try to enact revenge against the NFL. He said they haven't done enough on CTE.
So wait a minute. Wait. So you was playing high school football. You messed around and found out. Now, I'll also tell you that my parents in particular, they refused to let us play football. We was like, why? And she said, nope. And my father was like, nope. And they said it's too dangerous and them dudes die early. And so, nope, you can't play football. That's not a thing. Go and find something else to do. Go hang out, whatever you're going to do, whatever. You can't play football. But you're telling me that he went to the NFL headquarters because he believed that he got hit so hard in high school that the NFL should be doing more to make sure that they study CTE.
This is a large office building, and anyone that has to go through these buildings knows that there's often robust security, that there are multiple points of checks to make sure that the people who are in the building are supposed to be there. You mentioned in broad daylight, this man walks in with a rifle. Is there a question to how this was even able to happen, that he wasn't stopped earlier? Right, it's sort of a difficult position. You walk, this guy walks in off of traffic on Park Avenue. The offices are still bustling with people. Unless there are police officers with long guns outside of all of the, finance firms and the firms on Park Avenue, it's really difficult to stop the threat, especially when he winds up shooting an officer in the back. Now, there were 2 police officers on site. It's just unclear how he didn't encounter one of the other officers.
He walked in with a whole pistol. He walked in with a whole
gunman
gun.
is killed.
He walked in. The surveillance footage that they showing is showing how he just walked in with sunglasses on, and he just walked in with a whole M4 and just was going. This is another reason why I believe in guns. I know places like New York who has extremely restrictive gun laws, and places like California where if you get caught with a gun, you're going to be doing 9 million years. Meanwhile, you got criminals over there that's destroying everything. If people was strapped, they would have saved lives. I stand on that. 1,000%. If people were strapped, we would have saved lives. We wouldn't have had a bunch of people, executives, whatever it is that's going on. They wouldn't have all been hurt. We wouldn't have been having this conversation right now. We wouldn't be doing a review video trying to understand why he's so mad and he was just a high school player. If everybody was strapped, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. I'm just saying. We wouldn't even be talking about it. It would be a whole nother review video that we got going on. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Because the people that kill people are not people that's walking around getting their CPL, going through the classes and all of that. Those people are usually the responsible. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they're the most responsible people on the face of the earth. They go to the classes, they be there, they listen intently. A lot of them actually go to target practice and stuff like that. It's always the criminal, and then a bunch of people got to barricade themselves in. Every single time. Every single time. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's read some of these super chats. Shout out to my dog. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Locke. Mr. Locke says, just stopping by to show love to my family. Has been busy, but I'm pushing through it. Get that money, big dog. Get that money. Get the money, and then you can figure out what to do with it later. Get the money, and we can figure out what to do with it later, Mr. Lott. All right? AD, you should live stream at 999,000, whatever time that is. That would be dope to be on stream when you cross over. I don't know it could be in the middle of the night. I don't know what's going on. Y'all want me to do a stream-a-thon? Well, we'll talk about it maybe a little bit closer. Who knows? It could be next year when we hit it. I don't know. You can't predict it, Bitcoin. You can't predict it. What about Chris Benoit killing his family? Who was that? Chris Benoit? Chris Benoit? Killing his family? Send that to me, JMC. I don't know nothing about that. J-Dub says, good morning, AD and fellow bag chasers. In our next stock club, can you cover the possible biggest railroad merger in history between Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern? Thanks. I will cover it, but I will tell you right now, do not invest in railroads. Do not invest. This is not the 1500s. Do not invest in railroad companies. I don't want to deep dive into it too much, but yeah, I'll break it down for you if you want me to. We'll pull up the charts. I'll show you everything. Eric Harris in the building says, my mama used to look in my classroom window as soon as I seen her, my head glued and my books, pencils is moving. Somehow I became a good boy. Yeah, we knew better. We knew better. Messy mathematician says I had ADHD until my mom whooped my A good. I'm cured now. Much love to you and the bag chasers. Shout out to Messi. I love you, Messi. Ruse says, so no armed guards on site seems fishy. Well, a lot of people just have flashlights. I see you. A lot of people just be having flashlights. They just there figuratively. We've been in the news for some crazy stuff recently, says Deacon Weezo. What up to Deacon Weezo? I appreciate you. Eric Harris says, Umar Johnson ain't do nothing to deserve this diss track coming from Tom Dog. You ain't right. I like Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson is the cash cow. Everybody makes money off of Umar Johnson except for Umar Johnson. He don't even know that he's the biggest joke ever. Everybody makes money off of Umar Johnson except for Umar Johnson. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that insane? It's insane. I love it when he do something stupid. Every time that he get on there talking about baby Smurf and mama Smurf, or he say some chick was sucking his schlong, we talking about child support or begging for money, talking about he broke. He don't even realize it. It's like he don't run nothing past nobody that he around that actually love him. And they be like, hey, big dog, you don't want to do that one. He just jump on the internet and just start doing stuff. And I'll be like, looks like another alley-oop. He the funniest man on the internet. Shout out to Yvette says, you dumb, Anton. I am smart. Smart. Nah. Manuel says maybe he wasn't just attacking the NFL, but football as a whole. He was a fool. Anton got me looking at my mustache in the car mirror. I'm good. Oh, man. Knuckles says it's most likely when you saw Show Enough fight Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. AR in the building. What up to AR? Says times have changed. When I was a kid, dudes with bald heads and beards were usually ex-convicts. Now I have a bald head and a beard. Yeah, we wear Jordans and go to our son's basketball games. Jordan 3s. Eric Williams says, you right, AD, look at our home state of Michigan. What happened in Traverse City, that guy had a gun and was able to stop that man. Yeah, after he stabbed 11 people, he shouldn't even have been still breathing. What up to Mika? Mika in the building says, hola AD fam, been busy but sending my blessings. Y'all can catch Mika on the Red Cup podcast or on Thursday and Friday nights on After Hours. You know what I'm saying? LC is in the building, says, good morning AD. I sent you an email to vote for my son LJ to get Athlete of the Year. I'll appreciate it if you put in your vote. Thanks, fam. All right, cool. LJ, y'all can vote on Athlete of the Year. Meyer, I had already a long time ago I had offered for Umar Johnson to be able to come on a platform. A few years ago. That offer is now rescinded. And let me tell you why that offer is rescinded. That offer is rescinded because, and it was a lot of money too. The offer is rescinded because I don't have no use for it no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am in such a chill space. It's just like, if it's not people that I know or my own panel or the After Hours crew or something like that, if it's not Island Girl Q or something like that, I just don't even be caring. I don't be stunting people. Even my celebrity friends and stuff, we just friends. We just talk on the phone and we kick it with each other, or we text back and forth, or they ask me a question or I ask them something. And we just cool. Like, my friends and stuff outside of like Charleston, and I'm gonna have him on a platform in August also. But outside of like my friend, like my close, like my cool friends, I'm just cool with people in real life. And we just actually are cool with each other. I don't like leverage them. I don't be like, hey man, are you coming on a platform or something like that? I didn't do that with Kevin Samuels. We was just cool in real life, and that was the end of it. And if we was doing a panel, and if he hit me up and said, Anton, send me the link, then I would send him the link, and that would be the end of the conversation. Like, but we was just cool in real life. We never tried to leverage each other's visibility for whatever reason to try to boost something or whatever. We just was genuinely cool. And that's kind of how you want to operate around your friends. And you just want it to be organic. You don't have to like be try hard. You don't have to push. You don't have to do none of that. And so the people that I'm cool with, I'm just cool with. And the people that I'm not, and that's not to say I'm not ever going to do no interviews or I won't do no content with other people. Maybe in the future. But I just wanted to focus on me. I wanted to focus on building me. I wanted to focus on my brand. I wanted to focus on, you know what I'm saying, doing good work. And then we can figure it out after that. All right? That's kind of what I'm on. I'm just on that. All right, y'all. What we got next? Oh, let me hit this. Before I get into the white people stuff, you know what I mean by the white people stuff over in Cincinnati. I do want to tap into a little bit of local news. Tire theft crime spree leaving people shocked. Now, this is not shocking to me, but it may be shocking to some other people, and so we're going to deep dive into it.
In addition to burglaries, check out the new crime trend. Thieves stealing all 4 tires off a car, leaving them sitting atop concrete blocks.
Fox 11's Gina Silva looking into this. She's got the video. Join us live from Beverly Grove. Gina.
Well, it's a horrible way to start the week. Imagine you're walking out to your car and this is what you see right there. The wheels are gone. It's apparently becoming an upsetting trend in LA.
To walk up to it to see the 2 wheels missing, it's like you work so hard for a reward and then you find that. It's just so upsetting.
Jason is one of several Los Angeles residents waking up to a disturbing sight. Vehicles stripped of their wheels and left propped up on concrete blocks.
As soon as I approached it, I saw lug nuts on the ground, and I quickly found out that both my driver's side wheels were missing. So immediately I contacted the LAPD, filed a police report.
Security cameras captured 2 men in a white van scoping out the area around 4 in the morning on Sunday. The video shows them parking parallel to Jason's truck, then getting out of the vehicle on Edinburgh Avenue near 1st Street in the Beverly Grove neighborhood.
I found that there were other victims that surfaced on the app stating that they were victims too in the last 2 weeks. The suspects had been using the same exact cinder block, which tells me it was the same individual or individuals that were involved.
The same
I didn't know that this was like something new. Is this something new? Is this like a new thing that I'm not familiar with? Like, I thought that this was normal. Y'all said get wheel locks. I ain't doing that, bro. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I remember back in our day, we used to have a club. Y'all don't know about the club? The club was like this long thing that you put inside of your steering wheel in order to make sure that people couldn't steal your stuff. Listen, y'all live in Los Angeles. What did you think was going to happen? You live in Los Angeles. What did you think was going to happen? Anything could happen. If you parked on the street, that's why it's dangerous to live in your car in Los Angeles, because somebody could steal your house. It's dangerous to live in Los Angeles because somebody could steal it. To live in your car in Los Angeles because somebody could steal your house. I thought that this was normal. Y'all remember the club? Y'all said wheel locks don't work. I'm going to be honest. Like, we do the very basic, right? We do the basic of things and we take care of business. But more importantly, we just already understood that it was certain things that you can't have in certain spaces. Now, if you live in California, for example, not in California, if you live in Los Angeles, then this should be the norm. I thought that they should be thankful because they still got a car. I figured that he would be thankful. They came out, everybody on wheels, on cinder blocks. Oh, that means you still got a car, big dog. They just took your little regular wheels. Oh, you still got a car, bro. You still got a car. Usually how the thieves really work is this. Even if they can't necessarily, because, you know, it's a lot of electronic devices and all of that stuff. Usually how thieves would usually work was like this, right? The latest ways that they would do it is that they would break into the car and then they would throw the car in neutral. So they would bust the window, get into the car, or they would go through and try to figure out whose cars was unlocked. And then they would get in, figure out how to get it in neutral, and then they would push the car out. Or if the car was on the street, you would throw it in neutral, and then they would have a stoley. We called it a stoley. They would have a stoley come behind the car, and they would push it around a block. That way, if they pushed it around a block or into an alley or something like that, that's when they can really start to figure out, all right, so they can take their time, get into it, or they'll have another stoley push it around, and then they'll just be doing like this, pushing it around until they can get it to somewhere where they can strip it. And that's usually how it worked. That's usually how it worked. For me, in particular, I'm at the point in my life to where I just keep really, really good insurance. I just keep really good insurance. And if anything was to ever happen to my car, don't bring it back to me. Just keep it. Because I don't even want it no more. I don't even want it no more. You can have it. You got it. You got it. I don't even want it. If you come in and you molest my car, and I say molest my car because, you know, our cars is our baby, is meaningful to us. And let's be very clear. I don't support anybody taking anybody's stuff. I think that thieves should get a finger cut off. Every time they go in and they do something that they're not supposed to do, I believe a thief should lose something. They should lose a limb. That means you got 20 times to steal before you can't walk and you can't play video games. You got 20 theft lives before you can't walk and you can't play video games, because now the only thing you can do is be an elevator man. You can't be a bellhop. You can't type. You can't do none of that because we're going to take a finger every single time. So then you're going to be playing video games like this with your knuckles. And once you get past with the fingers, then you got to start taking tolls. That's the 20. You got 10 here, 10 there, and then you're going to start taking tolls. You're going to be walking like this. That's how you're going to be walking. Now you're going to need a wheelchair. We got to start taking limbs. And then at some point, you just got to go ahead and put them out of their misery because it don't even make sense. You just going to keep on stealing. But I think that people should start being made examples of. We need harsher penalties. All of this no cruelty and unusual and all of that stuff, that don't get the job done. That don't get people to stop doing the stuff that they doing. You know what I'm saying? Because people just going to keep doing it as long as they don't have no consequences that come along with it. They just do what they want to do. They just do what they want to do. Why should they stop when they know that they can get away with it and you ain't going to do nothing about it? What you going to do? If you kill them, if you defend your stuff, then you going to go to jail in Los Angeles. Hey, you guys better stop stealing my stuff. Man, shut the up, man. Go back in the house. Call your insurance company. That's what they're going to tell you because they think that you can't do nothing to them because if you do something to them, then you go into jail. And, contrary to popular belief, criminals know the law better than the regular citizens because they've already studied what the consequences are. They've already studied what the consequences are. When I was working at Home Depot, remember I was telling y'all that story about the guy that was telling me about the circuit breakers? Hey, man, there's some circuit breakers. Bro, I'm working in the electrical house. Some circuit breakers over here, my nigga. I said, dog, you're going to get arrested. He said, nah, bro. He said, all they going to do is fire me. I said, nigga, you need to go and check it out. The next day he came to me. He said, I think they just going to put you on a list to where you can't work in retail no more. But if I get caught, I'm able to get out of jail. And I said, so you wasn't researched? Yeah. It's cool. But we got to eat. I said, dog, get thee away from me, Satan. I said, Anton, you want to go to any other out? No. Keep me right here in plumbing, where every piece don't cost more than $3. The biggest piece costs $3 and it's plastic. Because it ain't nothing worth stealing over here. I'm going to say that people hated the plumbing aisle because it was so hard to find what you was looking for and to put stuff in the aisle. And people love to return stuff because, people is cheap. So they return plumbing parts and pieces and stuff like that. Keep me right here in plumbing. It's going to take me all night. I ain't going to have time to go over there and talk to y'all because I'm still putting up different stuff. And I ain't got to worry about it. Just keep me in plumbing. I don't want to kick it. I don't want to hang. Bro, if I'm not trying to get a raise or a promotion, I am the most antisocial worker ever. And so I know that I got to do the company outings. And I know, and it don't mean that I'm not social. It means that I'm antisocial and that I don't put myself in a position to be able to kick it. I am the most antisocial worker. When I was in the plant, man, bruh, if I got to come in here and kick it with you on my break, that mean I can't sleep. I got to do a double tonight. And I knew, I used to work at Budco. We used to do insurance verification. That's where all of the hoes was. We going to get back to the theft crime spree, but it's the Millionaire Derailment Show. We do life lessons here. I knew when I was at Budco, it was this one chick, and she was a little ghetto boo, but she was thin, and she was really nice looking, and she had like 3 kids. She said, I want to talk to you. Come on, let's just go out to the car. I said, nope. I don't want to kick it. I don't want nothing. I don't want to be friends because the call center, you get to being social. And I had hair back then too. What's going on, y'all? You know what? Next thing you know, they start liking you. I've always been watching you. That's how they get you. You always acting antisocial, like you don't want to be around us. Nah, I just be busy, man. I be just trying to do my work and take care of business. I be having to get going. You know what I'm saying? So you can't hang out with us? Well, at least hang out with me. Nigga, that's a setup. Nigga, you about to get in trouble. Keep on talking to them chicks that work in a call center and see what happened. Keep on hanging out with the warehouse hoe. Everybody done hit it. You the new boo. You new meat. You new turkey. Oh, you think you too good to hang out with us? No, I'm just chilling. And you trying to justify? No, I'm just like y'all. No, nigga, go to work. Go to work and do your job for you getting some trouble. Now you got caught in the parking lot getting some head, and how you gonna explain that to your family when you get home? Oh man, I got let go today. Then she gonna say, okay, well shoot, they laid everybody off. Let's go to the unemployment office. I don't think that's how you know your nigga's cheating. I mean, your guy's cheating. Shout out to the daycare. That's how you know your guy was in some mess. Either he was cheating, he was stealing, or he not doing what he's supposed to do. Cause he can't go file for unemployment. Cause they didn't lay everybody off. Him and the other girl is the only ones that get fired. So why y'all the only ones that get fired? So now you can't get unemployment because you didn't actually get laid off. You got terminated. They keep denying your unemployment claim because you not eligible for unemployment because you was getting head in the parking lot and they seen you on the cameras, and that's why they fired you, because you were fraternized with the employees. And the only reason they pulled the cameras is because you kept being late. You always late on your break. Every day you late on your break. Subway is right there. You could have got you a tuna with mozzarella and extra pickles and tomatoes. You could have got a tuna toasted on wheat, 6-inch toasted on wheat. But no, you keep foregoing your meals. Every time you get home, the lunch that she packed for you was still full. Oh no, I went out with the friends today. I went out with the crew today. No, nigga, you ain't eating your lunch. Why you still got apples in your lunch? Why you not eating your fruits and vegetables? Why you not eating fruits and vegetables? You love that casserole that she make. Now all of a sudden you got a problem. Now you fraternizing with the employees. Now you spending all of the kids extra money. Now they can't go on a field trip because you want to go out there and try to show off for the girls that's inside of the call center, and you got drinks on you. Grow up. Grow up. Grow up. Kids can't get no fruit snacks this week because you showing off with your friends at work. Grow up. Now we get back to the show. I'm sorry.
Cement blocks they use and everything, so it's all they're working all together.
A little over a mile away in Hollywood, Jonathan.
How do we get here? How do we get over to that? My bad, y'all. Let's continue. This is life lessons. Let's continue. I done seen a lot. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. I've witnessed a lot. I know what goes on in these places, all right? I'm not far removed. I'm the most relatable person on the internet that you know.
Gonzalez's car was also targeted on Sunday morning.
I woke up and my wheels were gone, and then it was the same how they have it like right here is the same thing. They left it with the same blocks, and they left the bolts, everything.
Not far from where Jonathan's vehicle was parked, thieves targeted another car. This one in the 6300 block of Waring Avenue in Hollywood.
The neighbors come together and do our part and do our detective work. And so far we've come together and found that
he's sassy, and I know he's sassy. How do you know he's sassy? Because he has on a silk pleated t-shirt. He got on a silk pleated t-shirt like they did in the 80s. You got to go look for them. That's not something that you could just purchase from the store. That's a certain type of material. That's not cotton. That's not it's not ethanol approved. It's not none of that stuff. That's a different type of shirt, ladies and gentlemen.
Do our part and do our detective work. And so far we've come to
not show yourself all you want. I could tell the lisp.
Together and found that the same exact van was found on multiple cameras. I mean, without our own police work, we wouldn't know that. So here we are today.
They're lowlifes. They need to be stopped. If the cops are not going to do it, we might do it ourselves.
Everybody in every state needs to have a right to carry, and I do not believe that anybody should be putting their hands on anybody's stuff. I don't care how much money they got. I don't care how much you think that you deserve it. I don't care what your situation is. Keep your hands off of other people's belongings. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Keep your hands off of other people's belongings, okay? Let me read some of the super chats and let me change my vibe in here as we didn't went on a journey so far, but we got more to cover, all right? We going over to the degenerates over in Cincinnati. We going to the degenerates in Cincinnati next. Brothers Keeper says, do you trust Quentin? Quentin got a mustache. What are you talking about? Quentin got a mustache. Quentin has a mustache. You need at least a mustache. You know who I really don't trust? Men with beards and no mustaches. That's worse than not having a mustache or not having a beard. Men with no mustache and beard is wild. I seen a guy like that the other day. And that's why I was having that conversation with y'all, and I say, when people do weird stuff, it creeped me out. I just started grabbing my pockets. I started grabbing my keys. I paid for my food, didn't even grab my food. I walked right on out. I was getting carry out. I seen a guy with a mustache, with no mustache and a full beard, and I 100% left my order. I say, hey, I'm going to pay it forward, give it to the next person. I just left. I seen a guy with no mustache and a full beard, and you can tell that he saved his mustache off because it was like the stubble. It was like, no new growth. I said, I'm getting out of here, bro. No way. That guy's a serial killer if I ain't never seen one before in my life. Yep, it's happening in New York too. All 4 tires. They taking all 4 tires? Jeez. Yep, either he a porn star or either he was a porn star or he was a serial killer. And I don't trust either one of those type of people. It's not new. It happened to my cousin a few years ago. Say Yvette. Shout out to Yvette. Your cuz had that happen? Sheesh. David Simpson says, might need to call Tom Holman. I'm not implying they're illegals, but we know they're not black people. I can tell you that. Because black people don't like rolling around in rapist vans unless it don't have no license plate on it. Usually, black people that ride around in rapist vans, the van is usually it's a real work van. You know what I'm saying? They got their painter's equipment. They getting their business started. They just told their girl, yeah, baby, I'm going straight. I'm flying straight. Former drug dealers okay, let me break down the stereotype for y'all so y'all can understand it. Former drug dealers buy rapist vans. Rapist vans are vans, they Econolines. Sometimes it could be a Ford Transit if it don't have windows. It usually is like the Dodge Ram van, and so they don't have no windows on it. And so usually those what we used to call rapist vans. And so those vans are for black people. For others out in California, that's the van that they do crime with. For black people, that's the former drug dealer going straight, telling his girl that he gonna be on the straight and narrow. So he go and get his Home Depot. He knew how to do plumbing. You know what I'm saying? He snake out drains. He do gutter cleaning. He just trying to be on the straight and narrow. He not trying to get arrested again. And he told his girl that he gonna fly straight. And so he's still trying to make his money that he stacked up. He invested it in his business. That's usually what they get. They get a plumbing business. They get HVAC. They not licensed, but they do all of the work. And so that's usually what happens. All right. Yeah, it's the cargo vans, the Chevy Astro, all of that. 100%. So former drug dealers, if you black and you got a rapist van, chances are you're a businessman. You're just not licensed. All right. Okay. I want to make sure that y'all able to profile effectively when y'all go out into the streets. So when you see this type of stuff, you don't look at him, oh man, he's a threat. He's not a threat. He's just not licensed. All right. He does good work. If something break, you can't sue him. I used to work for Home Depot and tell customers I will meet them in a parking lot with a smile on my face so they call me Mr. Bibbs. What up, Mr. Bibbs? Carrington Love Jr. says, I'm an anti-social worker too, Anton. They didn't know if I was a pastor, a mute, or a serial killer. Mr. Lot says, I remember one night at the factory, a chick said she thought she was pregnant. The music stopped, the joke stopped. Now everybody loved their wife all of a sudden. Yeah, man. You can't get involved with the chicks at the call center, the plant. That's where the biggest cheaters are. Call center, plant, overnight stocking, UPS workers that stock the truck that's not stealing. That's how they're able to catch all of the thieves. Usually they work at UPS and they start stealing packages, something like that. Anyways, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification. Oh, man. Y'all ready to go over to the next thing? I'm dreading going into this next thing. I'm dreading going into the next thing, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because I know that the Dusties are going to come out. Yes, they are. The Dusties are going to appear. And the people want justification as to why they should be able to do what they want to do.
Anyone who put their hands on another individual during this incident in an attempt to cause harm will face consequences.
Tonight, city leaders responding to Saturday's fight downtown as video prompts reaction from across America.
I will say, if individuals were down there and participated in this event, it would be in their best interest to come turn themselves in at one of our police districts.
Police Chief Terry Tiege says 5 people face charges, and that number could grow. Tiege also said she did not know if any of the victims were hospitalized and did not go into specifics of anyone injured.
It is clear to us that alcohol played a significant part in this incident.
Federal officials also commenting. The Assistant U.S. Attorney General Harmeet Dillon shared a video on X saying, "Every American is entitled to the equal protection of our laws. Nobody in our great nation should be the victim of such crime, and where race is a motivation, federal law may apply." Cincinnati's mayor refused.
When you see people walk like that, t-shirt, no undershirt on, gray jogging pants, Air Force Ones, all black, white laces, ring around a collar's a little bit drunk, that's not a place where you want to be. You see the gentleman over there in the purple shirt, purple hat, blue jean shorts on. That's not safe for you. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for you. When you see people walking like that,
and where race is a motivation, federal law may apply. Cincinnati's mayor refuting that claim.
It's wildly irresponsible.
That's a problem. That's a problem. Everything about that. Everything about this right here.
Cincinnati's mayor refuting that.
Everything about this right here says problematic. Everything about it. This is why people keep saying, "Oh, you're not invited to the barbecue." I don't want to go to the barbecue because I know I can get home safe at night. There are certain places, honestly, and I had a come to Jesus moment over the weekend. And it's while I was in California. California has completely changed my perspective and my narrative, all right? I realize me as a Cali man, I'm part Detroit, part California now. I have adopted California is my second home. It's just a place that I love. And as I sat on the beach at Newport Beach and I was overlooking the water and the ocean, and I could see only water as far as the eye can see. And I seen all of the citizens and they were riding their bikes, their electric bikes, and people were dragging their coolers back to their cars and things like that. I said, I can't go to certain places anymore. I just can't. I can't go and just hang out anymore. Let me tell you some of the things that I can't do anymore. I don't want to go to places where there are major crowds and I can't navigate and quickly get to my destination without getting to an entrance or a back entrance. Not interested. I don't want to go and wait in lines anymore. If you have a line to get into a place like a club or something like that, count me out, buddy. The after hour spot. I'm not going to the after hour spot anymore. I don't care what time that the events let out. I don't care what y'all doing. I'm not going. I'm not going. I like beaches. What did the old profile say? I like long walks on the beaches. You know? I like good views, good movies. I love live streaming. And I like going to events to go and watch my daughter perform and do the taekwondo. Other than that, I'm not interested. You know what I'm interested in? You know what I did over the weekend when I flew back on Sunday? I went and looked at property. I did. And I went and documented it. And I said, you know what? These are the properties that I'm planning on building on if I can bid and make sure that I get the best properties possible. My whole algorithm is forest and trees and properties. That's what my algorithm is. I was recording the different locations that I'm interested in going to. So this is what the street is. I was making Google notes and documenting exactly what it is. That is what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in being at the middle of the center of whatever it is that you have going on. I don't want to keep it real with you. I don't want to hang out with you. And it was a time in my life that was cool. But I have evolved into being safer. I have evolved into being happier. I have evolved to where I think, you know what the best day ever is when I can get 8 hours of sleep. I said, Jesus. I like older white people. Hey, I said, hey, what's going on? When I go to Vegas, often at times I'll stay at the location that does not have a casino down at the bottom of it. That's why I like the Vidara. The Vidara is right there connected next to the Bellagio and the Aria. And if I want to go and have some fun, I'll head over to the Bellagio. I'll head over to the Aria. I'm not going to be, I don't, y'all like the Cosmopolitan. I see all of y'all trying to get the Vegas cheap. You love the Luxor where the rooms is going like this on a slant. At a time in my life, I was a Luxor guy. My very first time to go into Vegas, I said, oh man, the pyramids, Luxor. I'm not doing, and that's not to knock nobody. I think that you should do whatever it is that you want to do when you want to do it. There was a time in my life that I did that. I'm not, if it's not the Wynn, if it's not, Trump Tower, if it's not the Vidar, if it's not something like that, you like Cosmo because all of the chicks fall over drunk. You can't wait to get you a drunk chick. I don't want a drunk chick. I want a chick that like to get drunk with me. You be on Fremont Street looking at the weirdos. I don't really care for Fremont Street anymore. I'm not really trying to be at Circa. I'm not trying to be at the D Las Vegas. I'm not really trying to be at the Flamingo. Y'all like going into the Flamingo area. Y'all like Drez. At the Cromwell. Y'all know where that is? Shout out to all of my Vegas people. Y'all like the Cromwell. I'm good off the Cromwell. I'm not. Like when I go out of town, I like going out of town to go to an event. I want to go to a fight. I want to go to a concert. I want to go to, I want to go see the conservatory. I'm off that. I'm off all of that nonsense. This Cincinnati Jazz Fest. It used to be a time when I was growing up where my parents and stuff, they used to go to the Jazz Festival. Y'all want to go to the Cincinnati Jazz Fest? Because it was right up the street from Detroit. I can't do that no more because y'all not safe. Y'all not safe no more. This is what white people have to deal with. They getting their girlfriends beat up. Their wives and their girlfriends is getting beat up in the middle of the street. How can I explain that to my girl? She's sitting up there with a big lip. I got a knot on my head. You held me down, though, babe. Yeah, that would have worked in the 20s. In our 40s, she going to be like, I'm not safe here. And I'm going to agree with her. I'm going to be like, you're not safe here. How you going to explain that to your girl? You got to go to work in the morning. She got to go to her call center job or she got to go to her nursing job. She got a black eye because she got stomped in Cincinnati. Nobody should be getting their face stomped in 2025. This is wild.
That claim.
It's wildly irresponsible. There's no indication at this point that that race was a motivation in this violent act.
This summer, Cincinnati police have been implementing task forces, drone programs, and youth programs to combat violent crime in the city. The mayor doubling down, it's working.
But the interventions that we have been putting in place on violent crime, particularly in the urban core, are working. And we've got to just continue to be intentional about that strategy.
And this is not even a Cincinnati problem. This is a culture problem. This is a black people issue. You know, I seen people defending this nonsense on the panel last night, and that's kind of the reason why I was like, you know what, I might be a little bit different. I seen people defending this behavior. Oh man, I think he threw the first punch. Fam. Let's be very, very clear. And maybe this is 43 Anton talking, and y'all some 26-year-olds. Nobody should be getting stomped. It's no reason that you should be telling me that they beat the hell out of the lady. You beat her up, you beat him up, y'all gang beat him up, and this is what y'all thought made sense? This is the press conference. Some of the press conferences she was saying.
We had a major Big 3 basketball tournament at the arena. We had a Reds game with large crowds, and we had the Cincinnati Music Festival. Wonderful, wonderful events for this city and all the people who attended it. Unfortunately, we had one incident late Friday night into Saturday morning that is getting all the attention and undoing the good stuff that happened this weekend.
And that's all it take. That's all it take is one incident. Even the OGs here in the city in Detroit, we like the people that's older and we live to tell a tale and we got older and we got families and kids and stuff like now. We be like, hey man, hey, not around here, bro. No, you got to take that somewhere else, bro. We not having that. I seen some OGs and some gang members, and they had them protests, and they was trying to bring all of that nonsense when they was deporting all of them illegal migrants. Some of the black people, hey, not around here, bro. Oh, okay, OG. You can't loot over here. You can't tear up over here. We gonna call the police. We citizens. We not having that no more. We done with that. We are done with that. We're done with the ignorant nonsense. We don't want to deal with the same stuff that y'all wanted to deal with.
That's the incident that you're well aware of that occurred at 4th and Elm. I, like many, woke up Saturday morning to the video. The incident occurred. We got our first call at 3:06 a.m. First officers were on the scene at 3:12 a.m. Based on the body cam footage that I watched, that response time is completely acceptable because the downtown area still had traffic congestion from all of the events. Upon arrival, the fight was over with. The fight was over with when the officers arrived. And the majority of the participants were gone. The officers did exactly what they are trained to do. They gathered information from the victims that were still at the scene to complete an offense report. I will tell you, at this time, we have victims and suspects identified, and we have charged 5 people in this offense. I'm not going to release that information to you. I will say, if individuals were down there and participated in this event, it would be in their best interest to come turn themselves in at one of our police districts.
Not gonna happen. Somebody said, like I've been saying since the beginning, in the 90s, black people are doomed and will never have an equal life in America. And I will definitively tell you that you are wrong, because there is a difference between black people and N-words. Hey, shout out to the daycares. You see how good I've been doing with my speech and how I've curbed my rhetoric in order to accommodate to the daycares and the churches and the grandmas. I've been doing a good job. Let me give myself a round of applause real quick. There is a difference between black people and N-words. I love black people. I can't stand N-words. I love white people. I can't stand trash. I love Arabic people. I can't stand ninjas. I don't care. Listen, I'm just telling you. Black people are doing great in the United States of America. N-words are catching charges in the United States of America. There is a difference, and I need y'all to understand that there is a huge difference between people that know how to follow the law, people that don't get involved in nonsense. There are plenty of hardworking black people of all socioeconomic statuses, and they don't steal. They're not ghetto. They're not making somebody else's life uncomfortable. They mind their business. They have a good time. They enjoy themselves, and they avoid the foolishness. It's a lot of us out here. It's a whole lot of us out here, and we not all dusty. And we have an opportunity to make a lot of money just like everybody else, but it's the culture. It's the cultural differences. JD Vance had something to say about this whole situation. And so before I read Super Chats, I want to go over to JD Vance. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a Vance in here. This is what JD Vance. Now listen, I will tell you this. The minute that the vice president of the United States of America decides that he wants to get involved in the conversation, you catching charges, bro.
Hi, Haley B. Miller, Cincinnati Enquirer. Have you seen footage in Cincinnati of a recent street fight, and what concerns do you have about that, given that that's your home city?
You said a street fight in Cincinnati? I have not seen this. Sorry, give me a little more background, Haley. I'm not sure about this.
There was a group of people who attacked a couple folks on the street in Cincinnati. Senator Bernie Moreno, some others have spoken out about it, have been critical of it.
Okay, yes. So what I saw, and I haven't seen the full context, but what I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full.
Now, let's stop here for a second. We're going to get the whole full rhetoric. Do you know that there are, when I actually seen some of the reactions and what people were saying, that people were actually bothered at the fact that he said that there were some senseless thugs that were beating up on people? People were more mad at the rhetoric of him saying that they were thugs than they were at the actions of what happened, and the fact that there was a woman and a man that got beat out of their mind. People are literally upset at the rhetoric of him saying that they are thugs. Let's continue.
Extent of the law. And they will be. They will be so long as law enforcement in the state of Ohio takes their job seriously. I know Dave Yost cares a lot about these things. But yeah, I actually, you're right. Bernie did send me a clip of this, and we talked a little bit about it. I don't know the full context. I don't know how the fight started. But the one part that I saw that was really gruesome is you had a grown man who sucker punched a middle-aged woman. And where I come from, at least, when you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time. And frankly, he's lucky there weren't some better people around, because they would have handled it themselves. But if they're not going to handle it, the cops in Cincinnati, the law enforcement, you've got to prosecute people.
I agree 100%. When I seen that woman get mollywopped, I was like, you know what? I'm not really sure how people can continue to justify. When I seen that woman get hands put on her and how she got hit, I was like, that's crazy, bro. That is actually crazy. I wish I could play it here on YouTube, but I can't, because it'll get everything flagged and all of that, because YouTube used to be different. You used to have fights on YouTube. Now YouTube has cleaned everything up because they are the #1 media source in the world. But Laquan, typical, of course. Laquan says equal rights and lefts. Laquan justifies this nonsense. Now, again, I already knew that this was coming, so I was emotionally prepared to have this conversation. And Laquan thinks that it's justified to stomp on people, kick people, hit women, beat them up in the street, and all of that. That's what Laquan thinks makes sense. Laquan with no profile photo, and that's the only reason why I'm having this conversation, is because his name is Laquan and it doesn't have a profile photo. Laquan thinks that it's logical for you to beat the brakes off of people and do this. Y'all gotta see the beginning of the video. The white guy started it by slapping a black guy. This is why we will always fill up at least 50% of the prisons. Is because we don't know when to walk away. We don't know when to not be outside past 3 o'clock. We don't have limits. We think that everybody should die. I'm going to kick your kids in the street because I'm offended at the fact that you did this or did that. We have no chill. We don't have no couth. We don't have anything that allows for us to be able to know where to draw the line and then when not to draw the line, how to defend ourselves, but not stomp a woman in the street or something like that. And so, we think that it's justified to be able to beat the brakes off of a woman because we feel some type of way about who started it and who didn't start it. This is the way that we think as people. This is the way that we think as people. This is how we logically. Now, never mind the fact that these guys are going to be prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law, especially when you find yourself at the behest of the Vice President of the United States of America. When he mentions it, if you don't think that these guys. Now, and I want y'all to be very mindful of this, right? Because I am a solutions-oriented individual, meaning that I want the best possible outcome for everybody, right? And there's so many different things that we could have prevented. Oh yeah, look at Damien. We know Damien is a troll, so shout out to Dame. Shout out to Dame time. But we know, right? We know this. At some point, you would think that we would say, you know what? I don't want to get felony charges. I don't want to have to do 2 to 3 years in prison. I don't want to find myself in a situation where, my kids can't see me, because we all know that somebody in that crowd that was beating up on somebody got some kids that they're not going to be able to see, right? We really, somebody said, I don't believe you would have took that slap, Anton, you would have wilded out. Well, here's the difference between me and you. I wouldn't have been out there at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's number one. Number two, I wouldn't have been out there kicking it with people and having conversations with thugs. That's number two. Number three, I would have never been out there hanging out with my girl at 3 o'clock in the morning with thugs. Number four, I would have never been outside at 3 o'clock in the morning arguing with thugs. Number five, I would have never been in Cincinnati at 3 o'clock in the morning arguing with thugs. Listen, I need y'all to stop trying to put me in your situations. I'm not going to ever be in your situations because I am not you. I don't think like an N-word. They be doing it. Anton, what would you do if your daughter would? What do you mean? My daughter is always going to be safe with me. I teach proactive measures to not put yourself in this situation in the first place. I can't imagine. I don't even put myself in that scenario. I don't even have the mindset to think that this would happen. If anybody has ever seen me in person, if anybody has ever seen me out of town, I travel with security. When the party is over, even at my meetups, I'm going back to my hotel. Anton, you going to the after party? No, I'm not going to the after party. I have a live stream that I got to do in the morning. I have a flight that I have to catch. I am not going to be in the same situation as you. So when you always say, well, Anton, what would you have did? Not be at the Cincinnati Jazz Fest at 3 o'clock in the morning arguing with you and your friends. That's what I would have did. I would have not been at the Cincinnati Jazz Fest when there was no jazz being played in the middle of the street, because I know that there's nobody performing at 3 o'clock in the morning on the streets of Cincinnati. Have you ever been to Cincinnati? I have. Have you ever been to Cincinnati? I have. I would rather be at home getting stroked by a chick than sitting there arguing with you in the middle of the street at 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing that you ain't up to no good, knowing you ain't got nothing better to do but than to crash out. That's the difference between me and you. Anton, what would you have did? I would have been at home sleeping, waking up, I would have been doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Making money live streaming off of the fact that you're getting arrested and you will be doing 3 years in jail. I'm going to make money off this video. You're going to go to prison, buddy. That's the difference between me and you. I make money off of your misfortune, and then the taxpayers pay to lock you up. And now the vice president is talking about you. So you would think that we would be more proactive, or we had a mindset to move differently as a culture instead of, because it ain't, the thugs is going to do what thugs do. The problem is the people that justify the logic and the nonsense instead of saying we need to do better, we need to hold ourselves accountable, we need to move differently. But no, you a real N-word. You him. You really him. You really them. You really an N-word.
We've had way too much lawlessness on the streets of great American cities. How many of you all have wanted to go to downtown Akron or downtown Canton or downtown Columbus for a meal, but you're worried because the local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild? We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children. If you want to take your wife or your children out for a meal, you shouldn't be worried about street violence. And the only way to destroy that street violence is to take the thugs who engage in that violence and throw their asses in prison.
And that's not, now you got the vice president on you behind. Now you got the vice president on you. Pushing lawmakers to hit you with the stiffest penalties possible. The lawmakers is on you with the stiffest penalties possible. Yo, don't you get tired? Like, think about 40 years on this earth is a long time. 40 years on the face of this planet is a very long time. If you have been here for 40 years, I'm 43 years old. You ain't learned nothing. You don't know how to how to get yourself out of trouble. You don't know how to avoid confrontation. You can't spot a problem situation or a problem, something that could jump off, and you're not preventative. You live to be, if you live to be 40 years old and you was raised in the inner city and you made it out and you somehow found yourself able to become successful, and whatever right success looks like, you're telling me that you're still doing the same thing that you would have done 20 years ago? That's the conversation that we having? At 40, you think I'm supposed to think like you? Got it. Got it. Cool. We all on the same page. Just want to make sure that we all looking at things the same way. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I can't. It's not registering with me. It don't hit me the same way. I don't understand why y'all think the way that y'all do. Y'all be telling me about how bad cities are sometimes. I go to them and I'll be like, this is a great city. This is awesome. You know why? Because I'm usually in the spaces where people like to obey the law in your city. Because every city has a hood. Every city has a situation. Every city got a negative place. Every single city, and most major cities in the United States of America, there's a degenerate aspect or some degenerate streets that you drive down. I'm not interested in seeing those streets anymore. So when I go to a city or when I go to a state, oh man, it's awesome here. Man, I can't believe it. It's so hood. No, it's hood where you like to go. It's not hood where we went. We went to the place where we got a lot of police officers, and the who's who that's here, they went to the same event that I went to, and we know that it's a lot of protection there. I love your city because I go to the part of the city that's got love in it. You go to the part of the city you want to go see with a hood. And, yo, I want to go see the ex-drug dealer street. Why? Why? You don't think that's a little dumb? Michael Thompson says, What up, Anton? I took my family out to Prime and Proper for my mom's birthday. Appreciate you for the recommendation. It was good, wasn't it? It was slapping, wasn't it? I know it was. It was a phenomenal time. Hopefully you enjoyed downtown Detroit. It's an awesome place to be. Don't talk about my E350. Shout out to they call me Mr. Bibbs. I appreciate you. Carrington Love Jr. says, I had one of them shirts in 8th grade, Anton. Very flammable. Chris Cunningham says, I don't agree with the outcome. I believe the cops did their job, but the white guy did slap the black guy. Was it right for them to jump? No. I don't really care. I'm sure we'll have a conversation about it on After Hours tonight. Enforcer says, Slim Thug, tear the club up. Trick Daddy said, I'm a thug. Lakers in 5. Nigel Daniels, 99, says, I no longer acknowledge bonnets and do-rags in public. I'm done. No more reactions from me. I don't see trash anymore. Oh, so you got that Anton vision on. F. Jackson says, Anton, we still bear the same skin color so you can attain education and make money, but separating ourselves from the worst of us is impossible unless some of us create our own areas like Arkansas. You don't believe what you just wrote, did you? Do you really believe what you just wrote? I feel very bad for you. But I'm gonna let you have it. There's no reason for me to break it down. If you don't get it, you don't get it. If you do, you do. Up 540 on the stock market after becoming a bag chaser and watching Stock Club. Found you after your Liberation Day breakdown back in April. Shout out to you, Deuce Handler. Are you dollar cost averaging? Continue to contribute more into what it is that you got going on so that you can invest more and make more. Carrington Love Jr. says, Laquan equal my mom told my dad to stay home stupid during birth. Hood mom. Shout out to Carrington Love Jr. Ryan said it's my 42nd B-Day today. Anton, let me give you a round of applause. 42 years around the sun. That's beautiful. I totally agree. That's where I'm at in life. Peace, love, family. Peace, love, and family. Bag chaser for life. Shout out to all of the bag chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right. We got to talk about a little bit more money before we get out of here. We got to talk about a little bit more money before we get out of here. Atlanta street interviews. I don't talk to people that don't have a profile photo, sir. I don't talk to people that don't have a profile photo, sir. I do not. So I'm sorry, I can't acknowledge what you said. Ra, beautiful, says, exactly. The Chi is a beautiful city. Out of towers, ask me about O Block. I know nothing about that. I've never been down there. Talk to him, Ra. And you look like a pretty person. You shouldn't be hanging out on O Block. Out of towners. Oh, you said out of towners. I feel you. I know what you're saying. Anyways, let's talk about a little bit of money. What we want to talk about? Can we talk about that? And talk about California? Yeah, let's talk about California. California knows how to party. California knows how to party. And the city. And the city grows. And the city of Compton, keep erupting. We keep erupting. Come on, shake it, baby. Shake it, darling. Shake it. California knows how to party in the city, California. Now, I told y'all that we would revisit this, right? I told y'all that we was going to revisit this conversation after we got a little bit more data. I personally said that California's minimum wage hike was a political play and it actually was going to be a bad idea. It was going to be a bad idea. I said it a long time ago. But we're going to deep dive into it, and we're going to spend a little bit of time, just a little bit of time, talking about California's $20+ minimum wage hike. I went to In-N-Out Burger while I was in California, and I seen them workers back there, and I was thinking to myself, every last one of y'all is making at least $20 an hour. Every last one of y'all are making at least $20 an hour to flip burgers. So if you working in the fast food industry, you can flip burgers for $20 an hour over in California at minimum. That's your starting rate. All right. And this is the result of it.
Welcome back. California getting yet another hard lesson in economics. The state implemented a $20 minimum wage for fast food workers in April. That was April of 2024. A little over 1 year later, it's estimated that the state has hemorrhaged, get this, 18,000 jobs. The complete opposite of the employment trends across the rest of the country. And I said this before COVID when they were advocating for $15 minimum wage, and then during COVID when wages did go up because we saw such massive inflation, that if the price of your Big Mac meal, and that's what an average person can buy for lunch, is $15, but they're making $15 an hour, then you sort of defeat the purpose of the higher wage. California took it to the next level, to the point where businesses then couldn't be competitive and they had to lay people off.
Now, let me give y'all a business lesson here, okay? When I went into In-N-Out, for example, and some people in the chat is saying, well, In-N-Out was always paying that amount of money, and that's dope. I think that that's awesome, right? I know that In-N-Out is moving their headquarters away from California down to Tennessee, and they are looking to expand outside of California. But in most of the areas in California, when you go to an In-N-Out, a burger is pumping. In-N-Out in Vegas, In-N-Out in California is cranking. Now, Anton, if it's cranking, how can't they afford to pay their employees $20 an hour? Well, they actually can. But here's the difference. They have to sell a lot of burgers and animal fries. And the animal fries is the things that get you. I don't really care about the burgers as much, but it's them animal fries. They put that little sauce on there, it'd be popping. Shout out to the animal fries at In-N-Out. All right. And here's the thing. You have to sell an egregious amount of them because they're not selling them for a crazy amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to sell a ton of them. You got to get it cheap, and you got to be able to sell so many in order for it to be a sustainable business model, because there are a lot of people working there. But here is the problem. There are other places outside of In-N-Out that are fast food joints that don't sell it, that don't have the brand cachet, that can't sell a ton of burgers, and they are the ones that are going to be suffering. And so what you basically seen is a lot of owner-operators that could not justify the cost, and if they could not innovate fast enough, meaning that they had to have less workers to do just as much, if not more, right? That's why everywhere you go inside of California, even in the airport, what do they have? Kiosks. You got to order your money, order your food from the kiosks. If you go into a McDonald's, they got to have kiosks. Here, pay your stuff here. And so now they're instituting Flippy. And Flippy can fry the fries real quick and perfect every time, much better. Y'all want to know one of the reasons why AI is accelerating, why machines and machine learning is accelerating so fast, especially in different industries that can be upended, like the Amazons or even fast food? It's because they need to limit and minimize costs while increasing profits in order for them to stay sustainable. So they'll make the one-time capital investment that it would cost them in order to have an employee. And that fry machine is just going to keep on going, and it never stops, and it never stops. So now you only need a couple different people, right? One to just in case assist different people, but he's going to or she's going to do multiple different roles. And then the other person that's going to be the assistant that's going along with it. But basically what these businesses are doing are trying to figure out how they can innovate fast enough to where they don't need people, and then that allows for them to be able to run up a bag. That's basically what's going on. And California, for the businesses that can't innovate, if you drive down some of these streets that's not Rodeo Drive, you'll see there's a lot of businesses that are closing. Man, it's a lot of closed businesses in a lot of these places. Go down Figueroa, go down all of these different streets and stuff like that. There are a lot of places that are closing because they cannot afford to stay open, and people don't know that the food industry, everybody want to open up a restaurant. Everybody want to open up a business. Everybody want to do this. I will tell you that that is some of the thinnest margins that you'll ever see in your life, your entire life, and it's some of the most demanding people. I'm going to put you on the internet because you didn't serve me right and I'm mad at you or whatever, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And it's like, I feel you. But you didn't pay for your food, and now you want some free food, and you came in here with a fake credit card, and so we're not taking your card, and now you spazzing out, and now you want to act like my business is bad. No, you just was trying to finesse, and we don't want to give you the food at the price that you want to pay for it, which is $0. All right? It's one of the hardest, the most difficult. As a silent investor, the only way that I would 100% open up my own place at this point is if I just wanted a place to just hang out at, but I wasn't necessarily trying to do it as a sustainable business, that I just wanted to have a place to call my own and that me and my friends can hang out at. That's the only way I would do it. And I would have to own the land up under it because I wouldn't want to pay rent. That's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, you said it in your intro, a hard lesson in economics. We knew what was going to happen, and yet they willfully went forward. This is a math problem. It's a math equation that can be easily solved before you put into place a really bad policy. Beyond having to lay people off, businesses leave and flee states that require higher minimum wages. We need to, remember, it's a minimum wage. It's not supposed to be a living wage, and I think those are the distinctions. We need to provide a pathway, training, opportunities to get people from those jobs into the next level where it is higher wages, not force the bottom up and force businesses to bear the brunt of it because they can't.
Yeah, and yesterday we talked about In-N-Out Burger not wanting to stay in California or its headquarters.
And, you know, you've seen so much business move to the south, to Texas. You've seen Florida take off, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. All of these states have lower costs of labor, and they're very popular with employers, and there's a good reason for it. I just see this trend continuing and not going away.
Well, the minimum wage crowd has this weird habit of always wanting to use like the stick of the minimum wage to bring people's pay up. And they always seem to be the least cognizant people that there are other ways to get that work done if you back a business into a corner. It's like we talk about AI every day. We talk about technology every day. They refuse to accept that if you price out businesses from their workers, businesses will hire technology. Mm-hmm. That's what happens.
And most of the time, a lot of those jobs, see, I'm going to say the uncomfortable part out loud. Most of those jobs, you ready for this? We're not supposed to be for people that's trying to make a livable wage. Most of those jobs, I'm not talking about the regional manager. I'm not talking about the manager of the store. I'm talking about you flipping fries and cleaning the bathroom thinking that you're supposed to be making $35 an hour. That was not for you. That was for the students, people just starting to get their job, people trying to get some on-the-job training, all of that stuff. That was not supposed to be for your grown butt thinking that you are owed all of this money and that they supposed to make sure that you're taken care of. That's not what it was for. It was not supposed to be for you. I'm just being 100. I'm keeping it 100. I'm going to keep it real with you. That's not what the job was for. It was never supposed to be for you. So when you see these people running around saying that they deserve all of this money and they deserve all of this resources and stuff like that, it wasn't supposed to be with you. It wasn't supposed to be for you. And so when you see people protesting, it's like, what are you protesting for?
There may be some restaurant closures in California, but actually what they're doing is we see this everywhere. It's kiosks. So like what you've done with you can raise the minimum wage and put people out of work, or you can support pro-growth policies and give businesses an incentive that's sustainable to hire new workers and train them up. But the left loves coercion more than they love the outcome they're seeking, which is a better life for workers.
And let me tell you something, now that I have an opportunity. I get very annoyed at the kiosks because sometimes they don't work and you still need a human to fix them, but there's only one human and there's 50 kiosks or 50 self-checkouts. You still need a human being there. And this brings us back to the issue we were talking about AI with Charles Payne, what it can do for your business, how much more efficient it can make you, how it can get rid of jobs as well and save you money. But at the same time, you just cannot replace humans, even in the most simple ways.
You absolutely can't replace humans. You 100% can replace humans, and it is happening. And if people don't think that you're going to be able to replace humans, if you don't think that those kiosks are working and in operation 99% of the time, then you are wrong. You are 100% wrong. There's no way that 50 kiosks are not working. This is one of the reasons why Fox, they got to be called out for their stuff, because a lot of times they conflate or they change the argument to be something else, or they're extreme with their views or something like that. No, 50 kiosks are not down, and they are very much functional and operational, and they're easy to use, and they're going to continue to improve over time 100%. 100%. Actually, most people, if you actually listen to them, they've been using them for years overseas. Go over to Japan. Everything is a kiosk. Now, you may have a maintenance worker, but that's only one person. You don't need 1,000 people all at the same time. And people are going to continue to be replaced. So innovation, and more importantly, shame on California and Gavin Newsom for not taking care of business, not being on top of things, and making it much more difficult for business owners to be able to thrive. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Yeah, another show in the books. Absolutely. Daddy in the caddy says beatbox. No, Anton up there with harmonized box. Beatboxing is for people that are in prison. Remember when I was telling y'all about Cash Out and R. Kelly? I'm not doing that again. Eric Williams says, AD, I'm looking forward to After Hours tonight. I hope y'all have a segment on a WNBA player that her wig came off and they stopped the game. What? Send that to me. I'm about to do a review video of that right now. And then we can talk about it on After Hours. Email me that. Pay Homage says, what's good, AD? First super chat. Shout out to my first super chat. It's coming through to give you your flowers. Appreciate the knowledge and the content. Keep pushing. I'm loving Stock Club. Let's get it. Make sure y'all tap it. Thank you for the super chat. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I think we're doing we're doing a Patreon live stream on Thursday night before After Hours. I want to also acknowledge the Cash Apples. I got to give a shout out to, again, Mike That Dude, Dennis Avery, and Robert Banks. Thank you guys for holding me down. Thank you guys for always showing love. And hit me up. You guys are awesome. Hopefully. Chronicle says, 80, don't you ever leave them alone again on Mondays. Don't worry. What time is After Hours? After Hours is tonight at around 10:30 Eastern. It's truly After Hours, 10:30 Eastern. Listen, I didn't leave them on purpose. It was literally because my flight and everything got messed up, and so I was supposed to be on After Hours, but I didn't get a chance to make it. So, but I was watching and I was working, so I will be back on Monday. All All right, nothing new, nothing new. Mr. Joe says, if you was the governor of Cali, what would be the first thing that you do to improve California? I believe that the three pillars in order to make a community great, or in order to have great infrastructure, or in order to have people move there, is California has a cheat code. The cheat code with California is that they got great weather. They have phenomenal weather. And so basically what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have, the first thing that you have to do is you have to make sure that you have really great public safety. And if you don't stop crime, stopping crime, harsher penalties, penalizing people that steal, all of that stuff, bolstering the police force, you have to invest in public safety. If you invest in public safety, then everything else follows. That means businesses is going to want to open up there. People are going to want to move there in order to be safe, so on and so forth. All right. So that's the first thing that I would do is public safety. The second thing is I would reduce regulations, and I would allow for more businesses to run up a bag and be able to thrive. That also means more home building. That means, more opportunities for other businesses to recruit and move in, so on and so forth. And then the third pillar is always education, right? Education is important, but that's not the main thing that I would do if I first became governor. But public safety, reducing regulations, and I don't know if it's the third that I would say right off the bat. It's so many different things that you can solve for in California. But I would be empowering mayors. I would keep the business climate to be more competitive. I would offer more incentives for businesses to move there, especially when it comes to Hollywood. I wouldn't be reactive to seeing what's happening in Atlanta and Nashville and Miami. I would be proactive. I would be looking to bolster certain industries that they are known for, like the movie industry and things like that. I would just be embracing more investment inside of California to create more jobs, reducing costs. You got to get the budget in order. And so if you're not balancing your budget, whether you're doing the city of Los Angeles or California, then I think that you're going to be paying more in interest. I will be working with the Trump administration in order to get more federal funding by complying with whatever it is that they're doing, whether it be our universities or the illegal migrants coming out. So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. People like to go and visit California. It's a lot of money that could be made. It's a lot of money that's being left on the table that could also bolster the reserves of what's happening inside. And then you got to figure out how to solve for the housing crisis. I don't know exactly what you would do to solve for the housing crisis. That's when you go to recruit, right? So now you got to go and find the best people that understand the housing industry so that you can figure out how to make the costs more affordable and reduce it. That way you increase the greater population, you take on more income. And then I would also make sure that I change the laws when it came to rent. They got to be able to get out the rent moratorium, the squatters. They got to get out. They got to be able to evict people, and so you got to solve for that too. So it's a lot of work that legislators in California need to do, including the governor Gavin Newsom. But they so liberal and they so much pandering to their base that they can't actually do the things that's the best for the people. So you absolutely should reduce taxes. I think that every state, no matter what state that you're in as a governor, I think you should be working to reduce taxes almost down to zero. Almost down to zero. All of the money should be going back to the people, which means that you need smaller government because you need less costs. You need more income generation, income that's being generated into the coffers, which means that you need to incentivize businesses. You would increase the property tax rolls because people would be able to afford it more. And then you also need to be working. Every state should be working towards a zero income tax. You should not be double taxed. You shouldn't be taxed from the state and taxed from the federal government. I will be working to reduce taxes, and that means more money in people's pockets so that they can actually keep the dollar circulating inside of the state. So that's what I would do. That would be the main things of my platform, and that goes for any state that I would run for or any office that I would run for. My primary focus would be reducing taxes, public safety, increasing businesses and jobs, and reducing costs, especially when it comes to being able to open up businesses, reducing red tape, and making it opportunistic for people to be able to get homes. That's what I would do. The cost of living, reduce the cost of living, increase the income, increase public safety, which then increases the value of schools, holding people accountable, especially that do their jobs in the federal government and in the local government, making sure that your schools are super safe, and getting tough on crime, getting very, very, I mean, I would be very, very hard and very tough on crime. Every day they should be sitting there lobbying and legislating for better judges, harsher penalties, and being able to keep people out of prison by giving them opportunities when they get out so that they can succeed and not turn back to crime. Get tough on gangs. I would get fiercely tough on gangs. I would shut every single thing gang related down. Everything would be done. So that's what I would do in California. That's how I will move. I will move just like that. So, and call out the BS and be very transparent. That's the other part. You have to be very, very transparent. No behind the scenes meetings. Everything. That's one of the things that I would also implement too, from a technological perspective. Everything would be streamed. Every meeting, every branch, I would incentivize people to get involved. I will be more informative. I think that one of the reasons why people don't get involved in politics on a local level is because it's not put into their face and it's not entertaining. It almost like when I came into the YouTube sector and I decided to do the Millionaire Morning Show, one of the things that I would hear from people is, "Oh, the news is boring. You gonna fail. Talking about money is boring. People don't, it's you're boring. It's how you do it is boring. It's the way that you present it is boring. It's your inability to relate to people. It's your inability to derail yourself so you can be entertaining and then put the medicine inside of the candy." And so I think that people need to figure out how to be more visible. And I would invite all of the press, all of the media. I would invite every content creator to participate. I would get involved. I would answer questions. And I would just be visible. Your job as a politician is to lobby, legislate, and be visible. Lobby, legislate, and be visible, which means that you need to be transparent. And I think it's too many backdoor deals, too much hidden stuff, too much hidden agendas, too much money going everywhere, and you would have to do a fiscal accounting, which means that you would have to bring in somebody like the Department of Government Efficiency or bring in your own group to audit every single piece of the government. Every single piece of the government that you're in charge of. I will audit everything. I will audit every job. I will audit every sector, audit where every piece of money is going. People would have to justify how they spent it. I would need to know I would run the government like a business, except I would be transparent to the people. And then we would fund the stuff that actually needed to be funded, like public safety. And so I would audit everything. Every single thing, and anything that doesn't bring a return on investment and is just average, we would use technology in order to replace it and get the money back to the people. And that's how you reduce taxes. But anyways, that's my pitch. That's my pitch. That's what I would do, and that's how I would run it. Everything would be transparent. Everything would be audited. Every dollar that people give to the federal government need to be accounted for. Every single one of them. I would even give police officers raises. I would try to figure out how to root out all of the bad cops. It's too much work. It's a lot of work. It's more than a full-time job. And so these people is just sitting there doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs, getting a paycheck, and they're not actually doing anything. It's more than a full-time job. So anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. Cliff Notes Anesthesia says, "Keep doing your thing, Anton. Respect to you for the work that you do." Thank you, my friend. And I think that more governors need to work together. Like California's governor should be talking to Texas's governor, should be talking to, you need to go and talk and see what works for them and how they are able to do stuff, and then implement that and then share what it is that you've learned. Because the better off that I am, the better off that you are, and people need to be working together. I think that the governors need to be starting to work together more. They need to be friends. And so you got to go and study. You got to study what they do well, study what works for them. How are they able to have, I would be a student. I would be a sponge. Hey, how are y'all able to eliminate property taxes? What did you do to replace the funding? How do you solve for this problem? All of that. Regulations, everything. You just got to be a sponge. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm holler at y'all later. Peace.